Hello, hello. Happy Monday. A couple minutes late. I'm trying something new tonight with sharing an iPad, so let's hope it works. So we can watch cricket and do it all. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I had a really special Mother's Day, and it wasn't all about me, which is what was kind of cool. I've started to write it all down for you, but basically, about 2 weeks ago, my pastor called and said, "Can you think of a way that we can bless moms for Mother's Day? We can't do brunch like we always do, so what do you got?" And I went through my usual, well, I could make cards, I could make them all samplers, how many moms is it, right? And then I thought, okay, wait, let's think outside the box here a little bit. So I don't know how many of you have heard of the Front Porch Portrait Project. I have to say it slow because I always mess it up. Basically, photographers are donating their work, going around and taking portraits of families on the front porch. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. So, long story short, we opened it up to, we didn't narrow it down, so we were in probably a 15-mile radius. Little too big, but it worked out okay. So anyway, my daughter Kate is the photographer, and two other just getting started photographers in our church volunteered their time too. So I coordinated, and I have to tell you that I grumbled a lot while I was doing it. It was a lot of phone calls and a lot of messages and trying to get everybody in their right timing. And then I started grumbling again. But I know, Shannon, I had to be careful every time I said it that I want to set up your shoot. It sounded awful. But I grumbled a lot. I grumbled at how much time it was taking. I grumbled, and I kept thinking, this is for your church. Why are you grumbling? But I was really kind of in my head in all the details. So then on Saturday night, anyway, I haven't really been able to, we've been socially distancing, my daughter Kate and I, because she's still working. But we decided to do it, and I drove her around to all of these places on Mother's Day. So we went to church in the morning, we had brunch, it's drive-in church. So we drive into the church, you tune in your radio, and we're a really small church in a really small town. So it's a small parking lot. You can wave to everybody. It's really cool. So anywho, Kate and I get off to go do our photography stint. She's got a ladder in the back because she climbs up. I'll show you the pictures later. They're really fun. And I'm wearing my mask. She's wearing her mask. We have the sunroof open and the back windows open, so we're freezing. But we decide that we can do it. We've got fresh air. We're both wearing our masks. And we go. And off we go. And we spend from noon until 4 with 11 families around our area. It's like, we got the map going, and we go to this house and we go to that house, and every single one of them made me cry. I still can't talk about it. But it was just so meaningful to see these moms and their kids, and some were moms and their dogs, and some were just moms. It was awesome. It was so cool. And so Kate stayed up really late last night and got all of them edited and all of them uploaded, which is incredible. And we sent all the links out today, and she's just getting all these wonderful, they're just so warm-hearted, and it was just a really cool way to spend Mother's Day. And I got to talk to all of my kids and see the ones that I've seen, the ones that are away, I talked to on the phone. It's just a really nice day. And I came home and had pizza and went to bed. So I hope you guys all had equally interesting days. And today I've been in jammies. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I kept saying, well, it's because I watched a Hallmark movie. No, it was just really, really touching. It was good. It was good. So anyway, if you're looking for a great project, it was awesome. It was wonderful. And it was kind of like every spectrum, from young moms, old moms, grams, kids, couple of kids, mixed family. It was wonderful. It was really, really cool. And they were on their front porches, so the kids had a blast. They were relaxed. It wasn't like in a studio. It was really fun. Okay. Right? Yeah, it was kind of and it was weird today. It was rainy, and then it was sunny, and then it was rainy. So yeah. All right. So that's what I did on my summer vacation, on my Mother's Day. But I have a really cool Embelly for you tonight. Make sure that you go to the blog. Remember, it's super easy now. You just go to karamiller.com, click on blog. You'll see the picture. You will see the picture of this one. And, oh, cool, Becky. She did it. Oh, that's awesome. You'll see that in Embelly, and there's a coupon code that it's half off, HALFOFF, all one word, to make it half off only till Thursday when we'll do it again. Maybe Friday. I think it's Thursday though. Don't wait if you want it. Use the coupon code. Okay. So we are also, let me show you, we are using the Bird Ballad Designer Series paper. As you can tell, things are kind of winding down at Stampin' Up! Before the new catalog, so things are selling out. I'm working really hard to make sure that I don't show you something you can't have. It could change in a moment, so if I show you something and we can't have it, I'm sorry. And we're going to use the Free as a Bird stamp set. And let's get you down on the desk so that you can see what we're doing. I'm actually going to cut with you tonight. These are not here yet. They were not considered essential. I don't know who made those choices. I think it said Thursday. So, but I want to walk you through a little bit. No, it really isn't this. Oh, I can tell you another story too. I'll tell you a quick one. My daughter Sarah is a college professor in a nursing program, and they're going to pin the nurses this weekend. They got an 8-foot pole. The professors are all going to dress in their caps and gowns and stand 6 feet apart in the parking lot. And then the students are going to drive in their car, and then they're going to pass the pole into their car with the pin and a lanyard on it. And that's how they're doing it. So it's still not the same, but at least they get to do something. And they did a pinning ceremony on Zoom, so all the grandparents could come and see. So they're trying really hard, but you're right, it's just not the same. Let's go into this one now. I want to show you a little bit about, this is one of the ones that doesn't need any work. You'll notice I'm writing longer descriptions, in the store about them so that you have a better sense of what to do before you buy them. Some of them need a little bit more work than others. Some are easy peasy, some are not. This is one that's easy. So, but we're going to customize it because there's a couple of reasons why I like to customize. So I'm going to zoom so you can see the whole thing. The tricky part, if I were just going to go make this right now, it would be hard to know. I'm using my hands and you can't see them. Sorry. It would be hard to know exactly, is this the top layer or the bottom layer? So what I do when I get a new Embelly is I bring it in and I'm going to ungroup it. And then I'm just going to kind of pull it apart so that I can see what is happening. So we've got that to stamp on. You'll notice it's called Ready to Stamp. And then we have these cute little flags. These fit the itty bitty sayings, so you can add a little something to it. This is the top layer. This is a shadow. Whoops, we got two together here. This is a shadow, right? This is a top layer, and this is a shadow. So now you can kind of look at this and think, and this is a shadow too. Let me bring you back. So we have shadow, 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 not shallow. And no, I'm not singing. And then these are the top ones, and these are the top ones, okay? So now when I go to put them in, when I say make it, I kind of have a better sense of what they might be. What's going to go where, all right? So the top layer is our Whisper White. I definitely recommend the thin Whisper White when you're cutting this. I put some of the tips in some of the descriptions lately. You want to, a couple of things that you want. If you are struggling with some of the text, then the easiest way is to change it to a draw layer and let the Cricut do the work. Here's one. I don't know if this one is in the store yet. It's going. I think I changed it since this, and I'm not even sure if it's in there. This was a work in progress. But notice this thanks is kind of thin, but I was able to cut it. I cut this from Whisper White. Let me get over there so you can see it. And it worked fine. Just medium cardstock, ready to go. But the thick Whisper White will be too thick. Okay? So a couple other things. If you're struggling, it can only be three things. It could be that your mat is not sticking really well and it's allowing the paper to move ever so little. So make sure you have a good and sticky mat. Order those. You'll notice in past classes I would have told you that you want the light blue one. The light blue one's really hard to get, at least for me currently. I haven't tried ordering it from Cricut. They're really slow to get things to me. Amazon's a little bit better. You can use this one even if you're not using the part to cut the card bases from Cricut. If you're using an Explorer or a Maker, then definitely use your light blue. What else was I going to tell you? Oh, the blade. This is another thing you need to know if you're a Cricut Joy, if you're a new Cricut Joy owner. This is not the same blade as what we use in the Maker or the Explorer. So if you need to order a new blade, make sure you're ordering the Joy one. And I'll put this stuff in the blog so that you can find it and see it. I did not know that. I tried to put a new blade in, and I was really surprised to look. It only makes sense that it would be smaller. That's that blade. Let me just show you so that you know what you're talking about, and I don't think I'm crazy. This is the regular Cricut blade. It's a lot different. They don't fit. So, well, let me show you one that doesn't have a cap on it. Hold on. You're going to think that doesn't even look like a Cricut blade. All right, so that fits in the Maker or the Explorer. This fits in the Joy. So it's shorter and fatter. No comment. Okay, so we're going to dump that right back in. So those are the things. You want to make sure you have good paper. That is probably the biggest issue. Shannon can testify to that for you. Your scrapbook paper that you get on sale, 4 packs for $1, it will make your head hurt. It's great to use with a trimmer. It's probably okay with a punch. Probably good with a crank machine. It is not good with an electronic die cut machine. So stick with good paper and you'll have much better luck. And especially if you're using the Cricut Joy, you don't need lots of paper, so you can use the good paper. It's like, you know, the good scissors and the good dishes, all the same. I think if I can remember how to do this, I feel like I can show you 2 things at once. No, that's not it. How do I do that? Oh, never mind. I'll just keep flipping back and forth. There is a way, but I can't remember it tonight. So I'm going to tell Cricut, go ahead and go. And I'm going to pop this in. But first, hold on, let me go back to this. Notice up here, this is really close to the edge, that flag. And I've been telling you that you're okay to cut your 8.5 by 11 to 4 1/4. Well, you're going to struggle with that one because it's going to go really, really close to the edge. So just take this and move it down here, and then it won't give you a hard time. All right? Or you can spin them and line them up, but if you try and do it with that over there, it's right on the edge, okay? I'm gonna load that in, and we're gonna let it go ahead and cut. I'm gonna choose this medium cardstock. It's checking it out, make sure it's the right length. And we're ready to go. Well, that's good to know. It does get beat up if it's a place that you've been doing it often. Yep, that is true. Alrighty, so we're gonna save these little pieces, and you can tell that my blade is starting to get dull. This is my original mat, original blade, and I have used this little machine every single day. We handed out cards to all the moms yesterday, and it was all ones I'd made with this. So the next layer, I'm losing my mind. The next layer is the top. It's not the shadow. So I'm going to pop this on. You can see that I used this before. Make sure it's sticking really well. I go through and I cut my designer series paper in 4-inch strips, 4x6, and I cut my cardstock by 5.5 by 4.25. Shannon, I haven't. The whole idea of that just makes me, it feels like fingernails on a blackboard, but I haven't tried it. It's doing okay, but I know I need a new one. All right, so there's that one. Now, this is the shadow of my flags. So I'm going to use some smoky slate. Now, I picked my colors based on the Bird Ballad choices. Let me show you what I mean. So on the back of all the Stampin' Up, sometimes it's in different places, but it tells you what colors you want. It says basic gray, but I'm using smoky slate, so it'll be okay. But Bermuda Bay, Calypso Coral, we're using Calypso Coral, and I'm using Petal Pink ink, but I was out of Petal Pink. Oh, there's smoky slate. And Whisper White. So it tells you what the colors are that go with the paper that you're using. Love that, because then I don't have to think, and I don't have to take a bunch of paper together and say, is this the right one? What do you think? How does it look in the sun? All right, so this is the little flaggy part. This one has a couple more shadow layers than some of the others do. There are some Embellys that get carried away and have more layers than others. We don't want you to get bored. But I'll tell you, if I feel like it's going to be too much for someone who's never done one, I'll tell you that. Don't start with that. I want you to have success. Hi, Linda. So I don't want you to get something that you're going to be really frustrated at. And I never want you to be frustrated. So if you have a file, if you bought an Embelly and you tried and it's just not working for you, please reach out to me. I will make it work for you. I will help you figure out what's happening. These are perfect for new Cricut, new SVG users. They really are, because they are so satisfying but they're not crazy complicated. Okay, so now we have this, right? That goes together. And now this is the shadow layer for the whole backing. And in this case, I used, oh, I don't have it cut. I thought I had everything cut. I don't. This is the one layer that I'm going to use. This little bird feet. So let's bring the bird feet in. So I keep my trimmer right here. We need to talk about, what do you need to make embellies? We're going to put together a little kit of all the things that I think are great to use, and I'd love to hear from you. But I'll tell you, it's seriously, if you're sticking with embellies and cards, it's not a big list. It's really not. Okay, so this is the, and you will use your paper way more. What am I crunching under here? Didn't sound good, whatever it was. Uh-huh. So, Susan, that's the reason that these are tested like a zillion times before I do it. I really have only bailed once, and it was this red truck, and it was a 3D thing, and oh, it was 855 billion pieces. You know, we don't do those anymore. I felt really bad. Still haunts me in my brain. Okay, so the next layer is, what's coming next? Okay, so now I have to decide, is that the shadow or is that the top, right? So I'm going to scroll a little bit and see, and remember the shadow was the darker of the two. Now, I could have changed those colors so I could make things work if I wanted to. I could have gone into Design Space and changed the colors of my actual paper, and if you find that easier, then that's what you can do. But I know that this is the top layer. Now, let me come back and show you what I did for this one. I looked at all my papers, I looked at everything that I have in my little stash, and I didn't have anything that went with these colors. Even with my list on the back, the designer series paper was too busy. I didn't want that on the front. The green one doesn't do anything for me. So I took the Calypso Coral, which is what I used for this shadow, and we cut it, and then I ran it through an embossing folder. And I'm sorry, I didn't check to be sure this one is still in stock, so I could be wrong. It's the Country Floral one. But let me show you how it works, because you can use any embossing folder. It doesn't have to be that one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this first. You cut first, emboss second. So those of you that think, oh, you don't need, I love that you finished them. I'm so proud of you all, because I sure didn't. I don't think I even saved the pieces. It was very frustrating for me. Those of you that don't know what we're talking about, it was a while ago. And was it a Dreaming Tree project? I know Mary Lou finished hers before we did it together. She was great. And so I thought, oh, well, Mary Lou can do it. How bad can it be? She said it wasn't bad. And then she didn't tell me it wasn't bad. She told me it was awful. She said it made her head hurt. But she did finish it. She did. Okay, so now I have this piece, right? I'm going to take it and pop it in here, and I'm just going to run this through. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm not going far. It's just over here. In fact, I'm not even getting out of my chair. But let me just run this little baby through. Okay. And then you get this amazing look, right? Okay, so there's that. Now I need the shadow for it, which I did the gray again. Oops, and I had enough on this one. So I used this same piece, just flip it this way. Was it? Dreamy Tear has, it may have been me. Maybe it was someone that had them usually. I just think it was so many pieces. I don't remember. Well, that's how Embellys were born, and they're not like that. So it was worth it. I took everything that I've experienced in my SVG world and tried to make it not happen for you. And I often change these if they, yeah, you could make it work, but I want you to not have to make it work. The only thing that I usually do is change up the writing from cut to draw if I think it's going to be a pain. Is that it? Was that the last one? That was our last layer. Okay, now we're ready to put this together. So let's see what we have. We have this and this, and of course, you know, we gotta ink these babies. So we've got Calypso Coral and Pretty Pink. How's it going, Marion? Everything going all right this week? You didn't have a good week last week. So I did just the edges first, and then I got brave, and I did the embossing too. Now, there are lots of tricks to ink up your embossing folder and all those things. This is just really not that hard. So, a little sponge along your edges, right? And then, gently, barely touch. I'm sure there's probably a better technique from my inky friends, but it worked. Barely touch the surface, and it will hit the, if you push too hard, then it will go all the way and you'll get the whole paper. So you just want to hit the embossed part, the raised up part. SVG cuts? Oh, good, good. And Molly? A hair appointment. Wow, this hair's getting really long. And then we're going to put this on here. Whoops. That's better, sorry. I'm putting this on the gray back. And let's move you out of the way. Ugh. I just get upset when I look at people and I don't understand. But anywho, and I don't know why people get mad about it. I don't understand why you're mad. I guess you're just mad. And so you can be mad at a mask. I guess that's why. I think if they had told us at the beginning that that would be helpful. Oh, good. Those of you that don't follow Marion and wondering who Molly Molly is her dog. She is her police partner, her retired police dog, and she, oh, I'm going to say it wrong, vestibular something. Basically, old dogs get it, and my Marley had it, and I was sure it was the end, and made this really horrible, sad trip to the vet, sure this was it, and he was fine. But it was hard for him. They're dizzy. I guess it's like vertigo in a human. But they're so hard because they can't tell you. So this one, the only thing you want to watch on these is it depends on, make sure that you have them right side up. So just double check them before you put them down. And I'm going to grab the itty bitty greeting one. and figure out what's going to go on these. This stamp set is probably one I use this really often. It's got itty bitty little greetings. I love it. We talked about this last week. They're really fun. So I'm going to use Happy Day and For You. The biggest problem I have is trying to figure out where they are, and I don't ever put them back. Oh, good. Here's Happy Day. And For You is in the other one, and I may not have that one. I'm terrible about putting my stamps back because I do it in class and then I don't come back. Oh, look at me finding everything. Good night, Lana. All right, so there those are. And what's cool about them is they can use a little block. Come here, Mr. Block. So, Happy Day and For You. And I'm going to use the Calypso Coral. Because I have it open. This is the top one. No, this is the bottom one. And I messed it up, but I can't turn it over because it won't look right. But we'll live with it. Part of the reason that I messed that up is because I use this foam pad, and you really don't need that with the red rubber ones. I usually have and I just didn't take time to pull it out, which I should have, because my countertop is bumpy. I was thinking the other day it would be cool if I inset the smooth tile to stamp on. This was created back when I was just a Cricut person, so I didn't have it. The other thing we're going to use on the circle, I might as well do it while we're doing it, is I'm going to use this bird stamp from the Free as a Bird, and you're thinking, well, that's crazy big. That's not going to do it. Jeez. It's loud too. It will. It'll go over the edge, but it'll be okay. So I just need a piece of paper to go behind it so I don't mess everything up. And then you have to think about what color you're going to stamp it in. Let's go back to what you're supposed to use. You're supposed to use Memento when you're going to color with the blends. But I like a more subtle lines on mine. I don't like the harshness of the black. So I often use basic gray and let it dry, which is why I'm going to do this right now. It will still show you the detail on the stamp, and if you're not heavy-handed, you'll be okay. If you're super heavy with the way that you color, you might get some smearing of the ink. All right, so this is going to hang off, so I got to figure out what part I want and commit. So see what we got? But we're still okay, right? All right, let's get the noisy things out of the way. So I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes. Pick this stuff up, move my inks. All right, we're pretty much ready to put things together. I'm going to let you dry for a sec. We're going to put you together. This is the Happy Day. Now I've got that ghost on the edge. See where I did it? I might have to need an embellishment or something to cover that up. Or maybe it won't show really big. Get under there. And you are going to go here. Now, I would suggest that you put your flags in first and then stamp so that you don't end up with a mess that I ended up with. See how that is covering up the For You? If I brought For You down a little bit more. So what can I do to fix that? Well, I could take my scissor. Shannon says I could draw a squiggly line above it. I could try that. I could start with my scissor right here, and I can just kind of trim this down. Now it's not perfect, but I can get away with it. All right. I could draw on it and add to it. I could take some embellishments, little sequins. That's why they make these things, you know. These cover up the boo-boos. So I've got, these are the Peaceful Poppy sequins. They're always handy. I'm letting that dry, which is why I'm going to show you this thing too. And that's where this little handy dandy tool comes into play. Did you know this is what this is for? I didn't know when I first got it. You just pick up your sequins with it, right? So cool. I got 2 sequins though. And then you pop it on here. And then you pick it up with this end and you put it down. Oh, look at that, covering up my boo-boo. Whoops. Okay, I need one more. Is everyone enjoying this part of my boo-boo mess? This is not part of the plan, but you know what? It's coming out cool. I like it. All right. So covered up my boo-boo, right? All right, so now this is going to go here, and it normally would cover that up, but I really like what I got here, so I'm going to tuck you underneath like so. Get over there. There. And then you are going to go, but I need to color my bird first. So I'm going to use my light Calypso Coral. I'm not going to color all the birds in, and I don't know that these are the right color for a bird, but you know what, I kind of like this. They're my birds, so they can be any color they want. But if you see, using the smoky slate or the basic gray ink, it's not as dark. They kind of blend with the subtle colors a little better. But yet you can still see the lines. Now if you use a really light, it's called no line stamping, you don't get the detail because you don't see the detail of the bird. So for example, if I did this in Petal Pink and then colored him in, it would all, the lines would just not be showing. I should have done this before I put that on there. All right. And then you're going to take your dark not 40 Flamingo, Calypso Coral, and you're going to, I go with the lines that the stamp artist gave me because they're an artist and they know what they're doing, and just kind of go over those highlights. And then I'm going to take my light and blend them in. And you'll see as they dry, they really do blend. And then the light end, oh, I should have zoomed in, I'm sorry. And then this is the light, no, this is actually the dark Daffodil Delight, the thin one, and do my beak. And then some Old Olive. This is going to get covered up probably, but I'm going to do it just in case. Okay. Oops. Forgot you up there. That should be a flower, but we'll make it green. Okay. Good. Good, good. Now we can do this one. And I'm going to bring this in. Now, if like me, you're sitting here thinking, where does that go? Go back to here and look at that and see. Okay, it's the bigger one of the two, so it goes in the back. All right. So in the picture, I had done it where the circle came to the front. I kind of like it better like this. So I'm covering up a little bit of my stamp, but I like it because I really like this detail that we got with the embossing, right? And then we have you ready to go right on top. But now if I just stick this here, it's going to be kind of wonky because this is pretty bumpy and raised up. So I'm going to take my dimensionals and put those along the bottom, just 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to use my adhesive on the top. And I'm almost done. Okay, so this is going to stick down here. Still see some of the yellow. All right, and then I took Whisper White, and this is the direction that's on every single one of them. It's take an 8.5 by 11, cut it in half, so now you have an 8.5 by 5.5. You score it at 4 1/4, and then I took another piece of Bird Ballad, and almost too many patterns, but I think I can get away with it because this covers most of it. If it's too much, you might want to go this way, and you could bring in this if you like that better. I kind of think I do. You could use the pink and bring it in. I think I like the yellow. So I'm going to cut this to 5 1/4. This is already cut at 4, remember. It's 4 by 6. So now I just have to trim off a little bit. I'm going to do it at 5 1/4. And I'm going to pop that on the front of my card. Well, since I don't want to use this, I'm going to grab another piece of cardstock. Hold on. I was all ready, but I'm not now. So this is the 8.5 by 11. I'm going to cut it at 5.5. So I get 2 cards out of 1. And then 4 1/4. And score. Now I'm ready. Pop this on. Yeah, I think I like the yellow better for him. And then this little baby goes right there. Okay, so there's that one. Let's take the previous one, which is under here. This one isn't stamped on yet. This one is definitely ready to stamp. And this one's going to go here. All right. So this one has the half off code if you like this one. If you have not done Embellys before, this is a great one to get started. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Embellys are cute little SVGs that work with any die cut machine. And they are designed to make cards. But they're also great to put in a layout or a sampler because they're detailed and a lot of stuff going on, but they aren't really hard to make. And you get to do all of your fun stampy things that if you were just using a straight up Cricut image, you wouldn't do. So, happy embellying, and I'll see you again Thursday. Bye.